what if instead of focusing on employee engagement for the organization, we shifted to professional paradise for the individual? What if these were the glasses that folks were putting on when they came to work every day? Now, I can pretty much guarantee that some of you have little thought bubbles popping up right now, and you're saying, professional paradise? Really, Vicki? That sounds like an oxymoron to me. You know oxymoron, when the two words don't go together. When I wrote my first book, Shift to Professional Paradise, that's the response I got a lot of times. But let's think about what paradise means. It's a place of bliss or happiness, a place that you want to go. Sure, in this picture, it looks like the beach, but professional paradise, it's not an external place. It's not working for an organization that's a best place to work according to your local business journal, or a leapfrog this or a magnet that. Those are all great things, but professional paradise, it's an internal mindset. And it's when your mindset drives your actions to drive positive outcomes. So the really cool thing is you can create professional paradise no matter what's going on around you. You know Jim Collins' book, From Good to Great? Lots of people have read that in healthcare. It was popular many years ago. And he talked about having the right people on the bus. Well, I think we've made a change in healthcare where we don't want people on the bus necessarily. We want people driving their own bus. We want them to be in the driver's seat. Now, sure, they have a GPS that tells them, where we want them to go. We're all going to the same destination. But we want folks that'll find their own route, that'll be able to overcome the roadblocks and the detours. And to me, that's all about creating your own professional paradise. Now, this is what employees in professional paradise look like on their way into work. Not going home, just in case you weren't paying attention. And I would guess that since you all are leaders in your respective organizations, this is totally what you look like every day. Right? Yeah. It's clip art. It's not a real picture. I never saw this at a hospital, but I like to dream, right? So in my estimation, when you're in professional paradise, my definition of employee engagement, it's when you're satisfied, energized, and productive. If you take all those words that Zinta Burns said in that great academic definition and you bubble them down, it really comes down to being satisfied. I like what I do. I'm energized. I'm willing to do it day after day, over and over again. And I'm productive. I'm related to those organizational goals. So a bit of homework for you is to think about what makes you feel satisfied, energized, and productive. It's interesting because what I've noticed is when I have a group of nurses and frontline staff from hospitals and I ask this question, often the answers relate to things like making a difference, or seeing a patient that's happy, or solving a problem, or getting work done. I think those are all things we've all enjoyed at different parts in our career. But then when I get with a leadership audience like you and I ask the question, things change a little bit. And the answers that you might tell me about what make you feel satisfied, energized, and productive, they relate to your team. You love it when your staff get compliments. You love it when you see the team working together and there's less drama and more production, right? You like it when things go smoothly. And so your mindset starts to change about what this is that makes you feel satisfied, energized, and productive. And the great news is there's no right or wrong answer. This is a great question to ask in the interviewing process. So you've got someone that you're interviewing for a job and you say, tell me about a time in the last couple of days where you felt really satisfied, energized, and productive at work. What was going on? And sometimes people will say, nothing. That's why I'm looking for a job. Right? To that I would say, red flag. Because a true chief paradise officer, they're going to be able to connect with these ideas really even on the worst of days. There's still going to be something that connects them. But when you better understand what that is, then you can figure out if this new hire is going to fit with this job you have. Better yet, this is a great question to ask in your one-on-one meetings with staff. You're having those one-on-one meetings with staff, right? Very, very powerful way to learn more about what makes people satisfied, energized, and productive. Because if you don't know that, it's hard to help them connect to what's going on. Now, the focus shift, our first shift. Remember I said it's time to shift how we manage engagement? It's changing your focus from employee engagement for the organization to professional paradise for the individual. And you may think, okay, Vicki, that makes sense. And gosh, we're going to get better results when we do that because we heard about all those benefits to the organization. But the bottom line is this is only going to work if you really care about the employees that report to you. Super engagement gal here. She's got her heart on her sleeve, right? Man, woman, that part doesn't matter. But the idea is that if you don't really care about the people that report to you and work with you, they're going to see right through anything that you do in the name of employee engagement. They're going to see it as being manipulative and you wanting more from them. Now, I know some of you are like, you've got to be kidding, Vicki. I have to care about everyone now? What about those orange dots? They're plucking my last nerve. How can I care about an orange dot, right? They're my troublemakers. They're the ones that complain all the time. Well, if you can find it in your heart, if you can pull it out and put it on your sleeve, and maybe approach them a little bit differently when you connect with them when you're back at work next week, and let down your guard a little bit, maybe they'll sense that and dig a little deeper into what makes them satisfied, energized, and productive. Because you genuinely care, you might see a shift in that conversation. I will never forget sitting across the table from a chief nursing officer in a client of mine, and she looked at me and she said, Vicki, to be perfectly honest, I think all this engagement stuff is soft and squishy and doesn't matter for a hill of beans. And I went like this. Excuse me? She was being honest, and that was her experience. Do you think the nurses in that organization knew that about her? Yeah, they did know. And she's since gone. She retired. I think she'd maybe been there too long, but she retired, and they have a new chief nursing officer. And when I go back to that organization, do you know what I hear? A whole different set of words used to describe that workforce. Because in your leadership role, people notice whether you care.